technology. Every time I use it, I can't even believe that it's real, that we can just do that. Welcome back. Thanks for coming. It is the Hotline Show. Today is August 3rd, 2025, and it is the 71st episode. Can you believe it? I can't. 71 weeks. Took a couple breaks here and there. That's a lot. Anyway, how was your week? I hope it was good. It's still summer. We're still in the dog days. We're on our way out, though. Beginning of August. That's halfway. That's all downhill from here. We are heading into fall and then winter, and then it's all over. I do happen to like fall and winter a lot more than summer. Summer's my least favorite season. What's your favorite season? Leave a note in the comments. I have some bad news. This week, I lost one of my favorite roosters. His name was Kevin. Fox attack happened in the woods. He was off by himself and he got taken. This sucks, you know? I mean, losing an animal is always hard. It's weird with chickens because there's varying degree of emotional attachment depending on what kind of character they are in the flock. There's main characters and there's secondary and tertiary characters. Some have personalities, some don't. Kevin had a personality. This was a little boy with a big personality. He was a silkie. And I don't know, have you ever watched him, which none of you watching did. Very few people experienced the magic that is Kevin in real life. But he was an incredible rooster, and I don't know if you know much about roosters, but they're misunderstood, that's for sure. Most people don't keep them because they're really annoying. You really should only have one. I happen to have like 4 now, but that's a different story. They're very loud and they'll crow constantly, and usually in the morning, but all throughout the day and even at night. Kevin was different though. He crowed all day long, starting at 5 a.m. and he would just keep going. Maybe there'd be an hour break here and there, but once he went, just one after another, after another, to the point where I think I was experiencing somewhat of a psychotic break because of him. There were moments when he would just be going off so many times I thought I was losing my mind. But when he wasn't doing that, he was being an amazing rooster. And I think he was doing it for his hens. He was protecting his hens. And he was so good to them. If there was ever food, he would find it, alert them, he'd tidbit. And the hens would come over and then he would just let them eat. He would never eat first. But now he's gone and there is peace here. And this is why I'm so conflicted about it. Because I loved him as a bird, but it is just so much more calm here. All the other roosters have chilled out. It's just more peaceful. So as much as I hate that he's gone, I also am okay with it. That's the thing with having animals. You love them and then one day they'll be gone and it's tough. Break your heart. Speaking of animals, I did a project with the local radio station, WJFF Radio Catskill. It's the local NPR affiliate. They had a sort of influencer grant, so they gave me a little bit of money to tell some stories. And I'm doing 2 stories, but the first one I just put out this week. It was on my Instagram, it still is. You can go check it out. I was going to put it here, but I shot it vertically because it was sort of for social media. But if I put it here, it's literally just like the middle of the frame. And I hate how vertical videos look on a TV, on a 16:9 television. It really bothers me. So it's like, I don't even want to put it here because it's weird. I'll put a little clip for a second now.
What the heck is going on there? There's a camel on the roof.
You're listening to Radio Catskill. I'm Tim Bruno. The local edition is coming up next. But first, let's go to our special correspondent, Noah Kalina, in Berryville.
Thanks, Tim. that's how I shot it. Initially, I was like, I'll do two versions. I'll do one for YouTube and one for Instagram. And then I was shooting it and I was like, it's so much easier to just use my phone. And I'll just shoot it that way. And, there wasn't paying a lot. In fact, I spent so much money working on it that I probably lost money making this. There's a whole lot I could get into on this video. It was a lot of fun. And I do like how it turned out in the end, but there's obviously some things that I feel like I could have done better. These projects are always complicated for a variety of reasons. That's why I was thinking of doing a sort of critique of my own work over on the Patreon. It's patreon.com/thehotline show. I'm going to put up a video there where I talk about it, give a little more backstory, but also depending on the tier that you sign up at, there are perks. There's a $2 thing that just gets you in, and it gets you on the illegal Wheel of Fun, which gives you the ability to win a best made notebook. I give those away now every other week or so, but your name will be added to the Wheel of Fun if you join the Patreon. And if you do the highest tier, $20, you can cancel anytime. You can just do it 1 month. I'll send you one of these Skillcraft pens. I'll send you a random print from the studio and some other goodies. It might be worth it. So check it out, patreon.com/thehotline show. Some fun is happening over there. Yes, we got it. If you don't know how the show works, and you're like, why would I join the Patreon? I don't even know what I'm watching. Well, good question. Thanks for hanging in there. This is the Hotline Show. People call the number. It's in the description below. They leave a message. They ask a question. Usually it's about photography because that's kind of what I do. But it can be about anything. Life, food, travel, the technology. It could be anything. You could even complain. Just call and what's the problem? What's your problem? Check out that number. It's in the description below. Or record a voice memo on your phone and just email it to me. The quality is better that way. This week, I'm only doing one call. It's Devin from Miami. And this is a good one. So let's get into it. Let's go.
What's going on, Noah? This is your boy Devin from Miami. I'm actually in Heathrow right now, getting ready to fly to Lisbon. I wanted to ask you a question, or I don't know, I guess just get some feedback on an experience, if you've had anything similar to this, or if you've heard any stories in the industry related to this. I've been contemplating this for a minute now, but I think at this point I'm just going to follow through with it. I'm in the process of pursuing legal action towards a former client. It's actually a celebrity client. You talked in some other episodes about how we're in a field where we kind of are just subjected to just signing releases or signing agreements that usually just suck. In this particular scenario, it wasn't something that was like signed bad. It was more like they just took advantage of usage. And oddly enough, after the horrible act of usage and whatnot, or using things inappropriately, their PR people actually came back and tried to ask for more usage for something, and it was like, hey, you guys never even followed up payment for the first go around, so how dare you ask for that? I don't want to go too in detail, but ultimately I'm at a point where it's like, right when I get back, I'm going to look into either like creative attorneys or someone that deals with like the photo aspect of things. And I just wanted to see if you've ever had to deal with something like that. And if so, if you could talk to us about anything like that, or if you've known of anything, and just your input. Appreciate it. Hope all is well. And talk to you soon. Peace.
Devin, great to hear from you again. Well, congratulations. You have finally made it. Getting involved in your first lawsuit, potentially, as a photographer. There's a lot here, so buckle up. That's why we're doing one call today. Not like I prepared much. And I will say, just on the top line here, I'm a photographer. I went to art school. I'm not a lawyer. Nothing I say should be considered legal advice. And it's all just my own personal perspective and how I view the world through my own individual lens. Your results may vary, and every circumstance is different. So with that out of the way, Devin, yes, celebrity client. Sounds like you had a contract, but they abused the contract. It sounds like some copyright infringement is taking place. We've got to look at that contract, see what you sign. Now, like I've said in the past, we sign contracts, and oftentimes we don't have much say in what's in those contracts. So you said it could be a good contract, that, there were defined scenarios of usage, which is good. So if they've abused that, it should be easy enough to prove. Now, how do you go about dealing with this? Well, so throughout the years, I've had a number of these happen. I've never gotten into a full-blown legal battle, but I've definitely gotten to disputes, which have been mediated through various methods, and then some completely abandoned. The first time I ever dealt with this, which is something I went to the Volunteer Lawyer of the Arts, which is a resource for artists who don't have money. And all of this comes down to money, right? Time and money. Just like everything, this is how the world works. And as Americans, this is the only thing we care about. Money. So this is what ends up getting us into a lawsuit. We're getting fucked over for money, one way or another. Someone's getting fucked over for money. So a lawsuit is going to happen. Now, way back when I was in a gallery show and they sold the work, $500, $1,000. I mean, back then it was a lot of money, especially for me. The gallery person never paid me. Okay, so what do you do? Well, people are like, go to Volunteer Lawyer for the Arts. It's a organization that does pro bono work for artists, mostly because these things are time consuming and expensive. And if you were to go to a real lawyer, it just wouldn't be worth it. It would be way more than the amount of money you're trying to get back. So if someone's going to do it for free, then hey, it's something. But when you go there, you realize they just give you advice and they're like, it's not really worth it. What are you going to do? Small claims court. Okay. Yeah, right. We're just not going to do that. So for $500 or $1,000 or whatever. What is the amount of money that things like this are worth it? This is the eternal question. So not only is it about how much money you think you can get, but then how much time and effort and also relationship destruction you're willing to, put up with. Or do you want to burn the bridge? Usually when you sue someone, they don't like you after that. So it's over. There's going to be retaliation, and that might not be physical, but it will be in the form of them never speaking to you again or hiring you. Something like this, it's a celebrity client. You're going to go, you're going to say, and you got to talk to someone. And by the way, I work with an IP specialist. She's a friend who I met on the internet long ago. Unfortunately, because I've been on the internet for so long, I've met a lot of different people through my work who have offered their services for me just because, they want to help out. They see different things that I've been involved in. Now, my IP specialist friend, who I will send you her email offline and you can connect, and hopefully she can help you out. But we'll go over a few things here. One is like, you kind of need to make sure the contracts are good to begin with. So she'll look at that, and if it is buttoned up and everything, she'll tell you to go to an attorney, because at this point she's not a lawyer. So what would end up happening is if you approach these people, they're going to lawyer up, and then there's going to be a legal battle of sorts. Hopefully it just settles, right? Like, people get scared of a lawsuit. They don't want to go through the whole thing, and they'll just like, what's it going to cost to get this shit to go away? Hopefully it does. Just to jump around here, but it just sucks when it is a celebrity or an artist or someone who you would think like respects the arts. But we learn as photographers that we are sort of at the lowest end of the respectability chart. And if you are basically a nobody, only there's a 0.1% of photographers are somebody. So you're just going to be immediately diminished and disrespected and taken advantage of. And mostly they take advantage of you because they know you don't have the money or the ability to fight. So depending on how big this is, it might be worth fighting. And, if they know that it is an infringement, and copyright infringement is no joke, they could be on the hook for a lot of money. So they're going to lawyer up, and then it's going to be a whole fucking thing. So if you get to that point, it's going to be something. Ideally, we as photographers, we need to protect our work. And how do we do that? We register our work, copyright it with the Copyright Office. This is what my friend tells me to do all the time. I don't do it. I don't think 99% of photographers do this. I know one guy who does it because he shoots architectural stuff and his photos are always being used illegally and he's always suing and he's always winning and he makes a lot of money doing that. This kind of goes to my joke that I've told a million times. There's 2 ways to make money in photography. Buy real estate in Soho in the 70s and copyright infringement lawsuits. So we only have one option left. So maybe everyone out there needs to go and register their work and then look for some good lawsuits to settle and get some cash because that's where the money is left. I mean, it's bleak, but that's kind of the reality of the situation as it is now. I hope I laid it out there more or less, but you just have to decide if this is really worth the effort. Hopefully it is. Or hopefully it's not. I don't know. If it's less than $10,000, it might not be worth it. If it's more than that, yeah, absolutely go for it. But as you'll see, depending on the lawyer, this shit adds up real fast. I love lawyers. In fact, I just became friends with a guy. He's a high-powered attorney. He lives around here. We met up. We were talking, and I don't know. I was like, what do you do? He tells me he corporate lawyer, all this shit. It's basically corporations suing corporations. That's how our society works. He's not even from here. He's like, I moved to America because you just sue each other. And it's where you make the most money, which again, America. But I was like, how much are you an hour? And he was like, $1,200 an hour. So if you think about that, 8 hours, $10,000 a day, right? Now, we can't afford that, obviously. It's funny though. I was like, if I ever get in trouble, I end up in prison, if I'm in jail, can I call you? And he's like, yeah. So I have a number on speed dial in case anything happens. I've got the lawyer phone call because if you get arrested, you don't say shit to the cops. I learned this in jury duty. Just keep your fucking mouth shut. They don't have anything on you, but they get it out of you when they bring you in. So you say nothing, your lawyer comes, they got to prove the shit, and then they're just going to drop it because it's not worth it. Get the lawyer. Get a lawyer friend. But anyway, with my friend, I was like, what do you get for $1,200 an hour? And he was like, my pure, undivided attention. That kind of makes sense. That's what you get when you pay me too. The more you pay me, the more I'm focused. You pay me for my focus. No pun intended. So the more I'm paid, the more I'm going to focus. The more I'm going to care about what you do. Same with them, But them, it's different. It's different but the same. We're all the same. In fact, this kind of reminds me of golf and how photography is like golf. I just saw this clip from this guy, Scottie Scheffler.
I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world because what's the point? This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of the deepest, places of your heart. There's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to number 1 in the world and then they're like, what's the point? And, I really do believe that because what is the point? You're like, why do I want to win this tournament so bad? That's something that I wrestle with on a daily basis.
What's the point? Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a tournament champion or anything, but I did get this GOAT trophy. And that means a lot to me.
We work so hard for such little moments, and I'm kind of a sicko. I love putting in the work. I love being able to practice. I love getting out to live out my dreams. But at the end of the day, sometimes I just don't understand the point, because
We work so hard for so little.
I love the challenge. I love being able to play this game for a living. It's one of the greatest joys of my life. But does it fill the deepest, wants and desires of my heart? Absolutely not. I think you have to be creative. You have to hit a lot of really good shots, and there's a challenge to it, but I think it's a lot of fun, and we'll see how the weather turns out this week. Weather has a pretty dramatic effect on how the golf course is going to play, and so you can play your practice rounds and prepare, but ultimately I think when you step on the tee on Thursday, whatever the weather presents is going to be probably the strongest part of the test.
I say this all the time, as ready as I am. What's it going to do? Is it going to be sunny out? Is it going to give me my clouds? More often than not, a lot of people know my work. It's very foggy, it's misty, early morning, late at night. Then I get a assignment or a job, a gig, shoots at 12 p.m. this bright sunny day. It's not what my work looks like, but I gotta make it happen. I know enough to be able to figure it out. Sometimes we go into shoots to battle. The weather we have, not the weather we want.
I'm only going to be doing this for a finite amount of time, and so what works best for me is just to stay present, continue to put in the work, which I would argue is probably the most fun part for me. I love being able to practice, and that's what I enjoy doing, and just trying to get the most out of myself each day.
They call it an art practice for a reason. It's to get the most out of yourself every day. You just put in that work. No matter what it's going to become, you just put in the work and you stay present in the moment. And as we've learned, like when we're shooting, nothing else really seems to matter. All the pain and worry goes away when we're in it, when we're locked in. Just like in golf.
No matter what happens, we're always on to the next week. And so that's one of the beautiful things about golf, and it's also one of the frustrating things, because you can have such great accomplishments, but the show goes on, and that's just how it is. It's great to win tournaments. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes the feeling only lasts about 2 minutes, it seems like, when you're celebrating, and then it's like, okay, now you got to go do all this other stuff, and which is great, but sometimes the feeling of winning only lasts a few seconds, and it's pretty exciting and fun, but it just doesn't last that long.
We've had good moments, gotten into the shows, we've gotten the gig, we've gotten the money. Doesn't last long. Just on to the next thing. The show goes on. We just gotta deal with that, because that's just the way it is. That's the show. Thanks for coming. If you're still here, I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me for all this time. Do the stuff, like, subscribe, call the number, it's in the description below. Just go on with your day. Practice. Try to be better. Try to do as good as you can do. For as long as you can do it. It'll be okay. Maybe. Until I see you again. Next week. I just said maybe. Maybe. I blew the ending on that. Well, next time we do the best we can.